All right, good evening, everybody. It is 7 p.m. in NYC and in the apple farming country in upstate New York. I'm Sam Kimball from Crush Wine Experiences, formerly New York Wine Events. Thank you for joining us on virtual day trip to wine country presented by Citi. We are here for Upstate Vodka, small batch, all natural and award-winning spirits from upstate New York. This is going to be great. It's a fascinating product story, and I think you're going to love this product. We're going up to a little town in upstate New York called Charlottesville, New York. It's about 1 hour west of Albany, and it's a population 128 people. And by the way, it's Charlottesville, no S, not like Charlottesville, Virginia, Charlottesville. It's an apple farming part of New York State and in the apple farming country, where things are still in many cases handcrafted. And our theme this evening is what it means to be handcrafted. We will be profiling a vodka brand, Upstate Vodka, made with 100% apples. So we've all had vodka made from corn, like Tito's vodka. We've had vodka made from grain or wheat. This is a delicious, clean vodka. I had my first taste of it this week. I loved it. And although I had the preconceived notion that it would taste like apples, it does not. It has a very crisp taste, no scent or flavor of apples that you sense necessarily. It's just a refreshing and very crisp, clean tasting vodka, great for mixing drinks or just for sipping neat. We're going to mix some drinks tonight, which is going to be really fun. We've got 3 awesome cocktails that we're going to tee up, and we have a mixologist with us. We have a special guest tonight, so we're excited about that. And although most folks don't think about this consciously, there's a reason, and I didn't know this until recently, that New York City is called the Big Apple, and it's because New York State's state fruit is the apple. It turns out that New York State apple farms harvest a whopping 29 million bushels of apples annually. That's not pounds, that's bushels, making New York the second largest apple producing state in the US. And so truly, New York really is the Big Apple. A few fun facts about apples and the apple industry in New York State. Apples are grown on 55,000 acres of land. There are 6 major production regions or areas of apple farming all over the state. And there are approximately 600 commercial apple farms in the state of New York. Upstate Vodka, made 100% from apples, as the spirit we're profiling here. It's not only made 100% from apples, but is also 100% handcrafted. We're going to see a short video in a moment, and you really get a sense of the place and the production and kind of how they approach the brand. It takes 4 times longer to make vodka with apples than it does to make vodka with corn or grain. And what's more, Upstate Vodka is certified gluten-free. It's also certified kosher. So one more note, and I'll move off all the fun facts about apples and other things. Upstate Vodka has the largest still for distilling spirits in the state of New York. And that's really saying something, because there's actually 191 craft distilleries in the state of New York. So a very interesting story, great brand. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome one, welcome all. Please hit the chat and ask any questions or make any comments along the way as we go, and we will answer those, and our special guests will answer those as well along the way on the fly. And if you would, hit the chat right now and tell us where in the world you are logging in from. We love to see that. We are going to be traveling, as I mentioned a moment ago, virtually to the town of Charlottesville in the state of New York. And I want to show you the map of where we're going. So if you see there behind me is a large wide view map perspective of the state of New York. You can see New York City down sort of off to one side of me and Long Island. And way up there where that red map pin is you see Charlottesville, and that is where Sauvage Spirits, the home and the parent company of Upstate Vodka, is located. I want to greet some people. Oh, we have New Yorkers in the house. The Big Apple, indeed. We have Long Island. We have Long Island, Queens, and Stamford. Excellent. Stamford, Connecticut. Connecticut's in the house as well. Don't be shy. Let us hit the chat now and let us know where you're logging in from. We love to see that. All right, so we took a look at the map. Upstate Vodka has a really nice video of where we're headed. And let me just grab my audio speaker here and we will play that video right now. All right. We're gonna meet the distiller, the head distiller, and a few different people from around. Oh wow, we've got Manhattan, Long Island, more Long Island, Chicago, North Carolina. Welcome everybody. It's great to see you. All right, let me tee this up, and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to watch a little bit of video all about Upstate Vodka. All right, ready to go.
Hi, I'm Ken Wirtz. I'm the head distiller here at Sauvage Beverages in Charlottesville, New York.
Hi, my name is Jamie and I work as an assistant distiller for Sauvage.
Hi, I'm Noelle and I work for Sauvage.
I've been distilling for 10 years, been distilling for Sauvage for 3 years.
We are unique because we're a distillery that are one of the few in New York State that makes our vodka from apples.
It was more like a mom and pop kind of distillery, and now this is going to be a huge distillery.
Everybody that's come through the door has to be trained from beginning to end.
I'm involved in every part of the process, from fermentation to bottling. That's pretty amazing to make something that started off as an apple and now it's a spirit that everyone enjoys.
We hope to grow the brand. I'd be very proud as we continue to grow for people to know the Sauvage name and Upstate Vodka. I want every bottle that goes out the door, I want to be proud of.
There you have it. Very cool. Great place to visit, and an amazing brand. These guys are doing innovative work around distilling in New York State, and it's great to see. So without further ado, I would like to bring in our special guest. We've got a mixologist with us, and it is really a pleasure to introduce Will Haji Georgalis, the brand ambassador and in-house mixologist for Upstate Vodka. Will is a veteran of the craft spirits world and a true expert, and we're really excited to have you here. Thanks for joining us, Will.
Oh, my pleasure to be here. So I'm coming to you live from my actually large for New York size kitchen in Brooklyn. I live in Bed-Stuy, although it is New York, so it's tiny. Everything's tiny. So.
Well, it's great to have you. So the broadcast finds you in Brooklyn, but I'm sure you have been up to the distillery, and you're obviously a veteran of the brand. You know, as somebody who's been around craft spirits for a number of years, as you have, tell folks who are not familiar with Upstate Vodka, and it's a newer brand, and it's a very innovative approach with just 100% apples as the basis for making it. What makes this vodka special and different than other vodkas that people enjoy?
So I was approached about this brand originally, and I was, as a mixologist, I normally don't get excited about vodka because the legal definition of vodka is that it is supposed to be odorless and tasteless. And they did not do that with this brand. This is literally the best vodka I've ever tasted in my entire life. It is the only vodka that I get like super excited about. The mouthfeel is amazing, and the story is great too. So like, it's all New York local apples, and the process, it's pressed into a cider, and then it takes 4 to 6 weeks for it to ferment, opposed to the week, which is how long it takes to do a corn or a wheat vodka. And you get, the longer you ferment, the more flavor you get. This is the most flavorful, delicious vodka I've ever had in my life.
So, I noticed that, and look, I'm a sommelier and I'm a more of a wine expert. I'm certainly well familiar with craft spirits, but I noticed the mouthfeel. Tell us a little bit, first of all, explain what mouthfeel is in your, from your perspective as a spirits professional. But I noticed that when I tasted this vodka neat, just poured some in a glass, it had a really nice texture, and there's something different about it.
So mouthfeel, so if you think about a glass of water, that would be what we would call thin. So that wouldn't have much of feel. And then anything with a viscousness to it, so like a syrup or whatever, that's how you talk about it, like with mouthfeel. Now this isn't sweet, although it's made from apples. But it feels like, it doesn't feel like water. It feels like there is a bit of a viscousness to it. So it kind of like coats your mouth, opposed to just kind of like being very thin and just like watered down type of thing. So that's what we're talking about with mouthfeel.
Right. So I noticed that right away. There was something different about this. It had a smoothness and it had a textural smoothness that I really enjoyed just tasting it neat. So I have to ask you, because I know a little bit, but you know a lot. How many apples does it take to make one regular size 750 milliliter bottle of Upstate Vodka?
So it's actually about 70 to 80 apples per bottle this size. And it's a mixture of different apples. So it's not, and that is on purpose. So the reason you do have that amazing mouthfeel is because they use a mixture of traditional produce apples that you would get at a supermarket and the baking apples. So there's like the sour and the tart and the regular sweet apples blended together. If it was all just regular consumer apples, it wouldn't have that amazing mouthfeel. So the tannins from those other types of apples are what create that mouthfeel and that smoothness. And that's why there's different apples used during the process.
And so some of the apples used are the ones that we all see in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Could be Macintoshes. Say again?
Some of the ones that you would never eat. There's some of the other ones that are that you would never eat.
Okay, like which types?
I don't know the names of it, but like some kinds that you use for baking, because essentially they're like more sour or more bitter. So yeah, but they have more of a tannin structure to them, and that's what makes it that viscous mouthfeel.
Got it. So and it's gluten-free. Talk a little bit about, what's the deal? Again, you've been around craft spirits for a number of years. You've worked with emerging brands, different types of spirits. What's the deal with gluten-free?
So technically speaking, gluten evaporates. When you distill something, what you're doing is you're separating the alcohol from the liquid. So alcohol evaporates at and don't quote me, I might get this wrong, 173-ish degrees Fahrenheit, and then water evaporates at 212. So that little magic window between 173 and 212 is how you get the alcohol separated from the liquid when you distill something. So gluten actually, you have to cook to 400 or 500 plus degrees or something like that. So in general, it doesn't get into the final product, but the alcohol industry in the United States is not as well regulated as you think it is. So there's a lot of things that you can do to a spirit after it's been bottled, and you don't really have to put it on the label. So you can put additives in it. This has 0 additives in it. There's some vodka brands that actually add some of the mash bill, which would be the grain left over, back into it afterwards to create that mouthfeel in a artificial way, and that actually adds gluten back into it. So the only way to be certified gluten-free is to actually be made from something that is 100% gluten-free. And that particular distillery where this is made, there's nothing but apples in there. So grain never enters the distillery whatsoever.
So ergo the gluten-free. So which, by the way, it all happens right here. Yeah. I mean, this is that still we were talking about.
Yeah. So it's a
Um,
multi-step process. So the first batch is done in a pot still, the larger size that you see there. Because you have to use a column still to get to the alcohol percentage that you need to get to legally be called vodka. But when you use a pot still, you actually get more, is what you actually would make a whiskey with, or a scotch. So you get more flavors out of that. So they do the first round actually in a pot still, and then they put in the column still to get it to the proper alcohol level.
wow. And I take it that the part of the reason to have the largest still is for production volume capability.
Yeah, I mean, this is super affordable, incredibly delicious, and I think it's really gonna blow up. I am super excited about it. Like, I think 2 days is overrated. I think it became popular because it was the first gluten-free vodka. But this is just side by side comparison is just 10 times better.
And this is the second part of the process, these tall column parts of the still, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, very interesting. Are those temperature gauges on the side, or those valves, or what?
Those are actually windows, so you can see like the liquid and the vapors going through. So to be considered vodka, it has to be distilled to 95% alcohol and then cut down with water.
Got it.
You need a column still it's also known as continuous still, that will actually keep distilling it until it gets to that alcohol level.
Got it. Very interesting. By the way, the other thing about this vodka that I think is extraordinary is, and given the super high quality of it, it retails for about $25 a bottle. And I picked up a bottle yesterday at my local liquor store, and it was $25. If you get the same bottle of Belvedere or some of the the most super premium vodkas can be as much as double as that. So I thought that's another distinctive thing about this is it's not only super high quality, but it's also it's a very good value. We have a couple questions. Is apple-based vodka more expensive to produce? Is the production process more expensive overall than corn or wheat?
Yes. I mean, think about how much apples cost versus how much corn or wheat costs. It's also a lot more labor intensive. So it takes 4 times longer to make the same product.
Yep. Yeah, I think that that's one of the notes that we were going to touch on, was that it literally is 4 times the amount.
A minimum. It's actually 4 to 6 weeks, the fermentation process, depending on the particular batch. But yeah, it's about a week for a regular corn or a wheat-based.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I see Ilio, who's the founder, is on the chat. He just clarified it's 4 times more expensive than grain to make apple vodka. And there was a question from Nancy about copper in the still. Is it more steel than copper? And Ilio clarified, but I see that's a question I have too. Why do you see copper and stainless steel in these columns of stills? Because it's a common thing. What's the copper role? Why copper and not all stainless steel, or why not all copper?
So copper has a unique characteristic that it actually absorbs sulfur compounds during distillation.
Got it.
So it does removes some off-putting flavors. Yeah.
So it's better for actually keeping the purity.
Most column stills are stainless steel, so they don't have that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Got it.
Most column stills are more industrial. Yeah.
And it looks like the area around the distillery is very it's very rural. It looks remote. I mean, this is a shot, I believe, of a couple of the parts of the main building.
Yeah.
Is that I mean, obviously, population 128. It's a pretty remote rural area. Yeah.
So I went up to visit, and I was like, "Where's the closest hotel?" And it was like 20 miles away, and I'm like, "Okay."
Well, you got it. You see where it is here.
Yeah.
It's kind of in between Binghamton, Albany, and Kingston there. And for anybody who's curious, this is what the bottle looks like. That's the retail on it. Should we start jumping into cocktails? Let's see if we
Sure.
have any more questions.
I did want to add on that we can actually ship, if you can legally get spirits in your state, then we can ship. It doesn't have to just be New York. So
You
if you
can
go on the
ship
website,
to-
it'll actually let you know if they can ship to you directly. Just pick your state and they'll tell you what the price is and everything.
Got it. So for folks in North Carolina and Chicago, we should be able to get to in Connecticut. Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So I believe we're going to do 3 cocktails.
Yes.
And no pressure. You're the mixologist. We're the guests. So we're going to start with the Cranberry Gimlet. Is that right?
Yeah, so these are all like a little bit holiday themed. So this is a kind of spin on traditional vodka cocktail, but we're gonna add a little bit of a red for Christmas.
Okay.
So
Excellent. We like that. I'm going to put the recipe up on the screen here.
Okay.
So bear with me.
So I'll explain to you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I always use fresh citrus. I don't like buying bottled lime juice or lemon juice. A lot of bottled lemon juices aren't pure lemon juice, especially the one that says real lemon, which is actually not real lemon. It's real lemon plus preservatives and like lemon oil to give the impression of lemon. So I highly recommend you don't do that. So
Yep.
what I would do is buy fresh produce whenever you make these cocktails, and you get something like this guy here. It's called a citrus squeezer. This one is a gorgeous, ridiculously large one. They're normally a little bit smaller, but I get free perks at work, so I got this.
Good to have bar tools.
So you cut a lime in half, and then you actually put it, you would think that you put it in this way, but you actually want to put it so that the open part goes down. And then you squeeze that into your shaker and then tilt it to the side and some of the other liquid will come out there. So for this recipe, we're gonna use an ounce of lime juice. In general, 1 lime is an ounce of lime juice. So, but you can measure it afterwards. You got, an extra large lime, or if it's a little bit dried out or something. I'm not sure if you have enough, but in general, you're pretty good to say that this is an ounce.
So one lime is about an ounce.
1 ounce is, yeah.
Yep. And again, so we're mixing simple syrup, lime juice, and cranberry juice in equal proportions, 1 ounce of each.
Yes. So to make simple syrup at home, it's really easy. You just take a cup of boiling water, and then you add a cup of sugar, and then you stir it until it's dissolved.
And will it stay mixed even if you leave it on the shelf for a couple weeks?
Yeah, it lasts forever.
It does.
like,
Once you boil it, it combines.
I mean, I do keep it in the fridge, but like I've never had simple syrup go bad on me. Yeah.
Excellent.
Invest in one of these guys if you don't have one. This is a jigger. There's different types of jiggers, so you can like measure what you're pouring.
Yep.
This one here is called a Japanese jigger.
Yep.
It's tall and narrow. It's a little bit more accurate. I like that, but it's small hands.
Yep.
It's called a Leopold jigger and has a very small thing there, so you can go back and forth with it.
And the small side of each of these is 1 ounce. Yeah.
Yes, for these particular ones. Yep.
Yep.
So also, when you're filling up a jigger, you actually want it to pour to the top, to the point that it looks like it's about to fall over. That's when you know that's an actual ounce.
So you're right to the rim.
Yeah. That's what you do. And if you don't have cranberry juice at home, you can use any red, sweet juice, pomegranate juice, tart cherry juice. You'll get a similar effect.
Yep. I have a small confession to make, but I think it's going to work out fine. My store didn't have limes today, and I also didn't get lemons. I thought I had them at home, so I have lemonade as my substitute here. So it's a little different. It's going to have a slightly different characteristic, but I tasted the drink. I got I just wanted to point out for everybody watching, there are ways you can substitute things in.
The other thing you happen to get into, which I didn't used to when I was younger, is we're do the cheap stuff first and the expensive stuff at the end. So like I always used to start with the alcohol because that's what I knew, and then I'm like, oh, I'll mix everything up. But if you mess up in the beginning and you haven't put the vodka in yet, and you haven't wasted the most expensive stuff. So
Yep. Good point. Good point.
So again, we do this to the rim. I'm gonna run to my freezer real quick and get some ice cubes.
All right.
Okay, so I've got these like little square ice cubes here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you got the real deal.
You don't want to use a ton, so you just need like a couple cubes, and I'm gonna teach you how to shake it too. So well, I'm gonna mess this one up by showing you how to do it wrong. Okay. Don't do this.
Okay.
So you actually want to keep it moving in like you go up and down and up and down. And a habit that I picked up from bartending is if you have people over, if you're having a party and you're making cocktails in front of them, turn sideways, because sometimes there's some splashing, some liquid comes out, and it could get on your guests. As a bartender, my brain automatically just makes me move sideways now when I shake a cocktail.
All right, that's good.
You want to go up and down like this.
Oh, wow.
You also can go in a circle. And then you can do the whole.
And why is that? Why do you do it that way instead of the sort of the first way?
That prevents you from chipping the ice inside and watering down, but still cools it down. Yeah, so it cools down your drink without watering down your drink. This particular type of shaper is called a cobbler. It has a built-in strainer in it. I like using these. This is called a Hawthorne strainer. This is what I prefer to use.
Yep.
So you put that on top, and then I've got my coupe, and then called coupe glasses. They're actually supposedly formed after Marie Antoinette's breasts. That's why they're the size that they are. So if you ever go to a cocktail bar, that's a little interesting tidbit.
Yeah. We're all about the fast facts, Will.
Fast facts. Okay.
Look at that. Wow, it's beautiful color.
And then I got a friend that makes that dehydrates lime wheels for me.
Mm-hmm.
So these look here, I'll get a little closer so you can see. They're like
Look
there.
at that. Wow.
You actually order kind of garnishes like this off a website called Dress the Drink. So dressthedrink.com. And then that is our Cranberry Gimlet.
Wow, excellent.
Oh, that's so good.
Super nice. Yeah, no, it's definitely a little tart.
Yeah.
Mine is probably a little slightly less tart because there was a little bit of sweetness in.
So like these aren't set in stone. So if you like a little bit sweeter drink, then you use a little bit more sugar, a little bit less lime juice. So the lime and the sugar balance each other out.
Yep.
So if you like for lemonades, I like a tart lemonade, so that's why we're doing it like this. But like if you like a sweeter style lemonade, then you go, just reduce the acid or add the sugar. Either one.
Well, I'm going to just for everybody's benefit, I'm going to put it back up on screen for a moment. That was the Cranberry Gimlet. 1 ounce of simple syrup, 1 ounce lime juice, 1 ounce cranberry juice, and 2 ounces of Upstate Vodka. And if you can get a dehydrated lime wheel, garnish in a coupe glass after shaking.
The beauty of the dehydrated lime wheel is that also they last forever. So I bought these for an event in September, and they're still good. So, but I mean, if you're at a party, just cut a lime in a wheel. The wedge is like so 2010. Not a fan of the wedge.
Yep.
All about the wheel. Functionally, a wedge makes more sense, but the point is, it's a garnish. You've already made the cocktail perfectly, so you don't need someone to add more lime into it. So that's a little bit. It's more for show. So
next up, we have the spiced cider. Yeah.
yes.
Excellent.
So cocktail I made a long time ago when I was working for a gin brand, and I made adaptations for it for the vodka. And I thought it would be perfect because apple cider and apple vodka is made from apples. It would be great. So we've got lemons for this one. So lemons tend to produce more juice than a lime. So I'm going to squeeze this, and then I'm going to measure to see how much juice I got. Oh, if anybody is doing this at home, keep one of these lemon or lime halves that have been squeezed, because we're going to use that for the third cocktail.
Okay. This one is particularly delicious, and it's particularly seasonal right now.
Yes.
Cider and the other ingredients. It's this is a terrific holiday drink. I'm going to put it back up on screen just to show everybody
It's
again.
meant to be over ice, but you can heat this up. If you do heat it up, use less lemon juice, because the lemon juice gets more pronounced as you heat it, but you can serve it as like a hot cider or some hot cider stuff. So I made a simple syrup, a chai tea based simple syrup, and I will tell you guys at home how to make this. So you use like essentially a super concentrated tea with sugar. So what I did is I used 8 chai tea bags, so like to a cup of water. You actually want to do about, instead of a cup of water, I do like 9 or 10 ounces of water.
Yep.
Because when you take that many tea bags into the water, and then when you end up pulling them out, some of the water is absorbed in the bag. So at the end of the day, you want to do a 1-to-1 ratio for sugar and water. Okay.
Yep.
So take about 8 tea bags, stick in about 9 ounces of water, properly steep it until it gets stirred, at least 5 minutes. And then squeeze all the tea bags so you get all the flavors out of them, toss them around, and add a cup of sugar.
Now, Will, what if, because here in my home, I have actual simple syrup that I bought at a bar supply. So the chai tea version of the simple syrup, can I just use my regular simple syrup and then do the thing with the tea bags and some water?
So I don't think it would be too viscous.
It
Because
would.
you need to do it while it's still water versus with sugar.
So you need to make it from scratch. It's the tea bags,
You have
the
to make it
sugar,
from
and the
scratch.
water. Yep.
Yeah, but it's easy to make from scratch. Like I originally did this recipe. I bought it from Trader Joe's. I've used Twinin's tea. It's really any chai tea. Different chais are different. The one from Trader Joe's tends to be a little bit more heavy on the clove, a little bit more pungent. I actually like it. But then if you want like a milder spice, here's the Twinings is what
Twinings chai tea. Yeah.
this particular one. So a
Got
little
it.
bit more subtle. I'm a tea guy. Yeah. Okay, so I have an ounce of lemon juice that I measured because this was more than an ounce. Okay.
Does a lemon normally produce a little bit more juice
Yeah,
than
they're
1
like-
ounce? Like the lime does 1 because it's smaller and a lemon is bigger?
Yeah.
Yep. Some
I
New
love
York State apple cider.
Yeah.
How close are the orchards to the distillery?
I mean, some of them are actually on site, and then they get extras from like with the nearby farms.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're 2 ounces of apple cider.
I love it. We used to put, when I was a kid, growing up upstate, I used to put apple cider, half the jug like that outside, and I'd let it ferment.
Oh. And then we'll do 2 ounces of the Upstate Vodka again.
Yep.
Oops. Get my ice cubes.
You got to get your cinnamon stick.
I got that ready. I'm ready to go. All right. No one can see me because they can just see my back. Hi guys. So if you have a shaker like this, you're not really sure how to use it.
Oh, wow, that's another type of shaker. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this is called a Boston shaker. This is what, so the cobbler shaker, oh, I got rid of it. The cobbler shaker is great for just one cocktail. You can't really make two cocktails in this guy. It also
Right.
has a built-in strainer on it if you don't want to deal with the other stuff. Most bartenders do use, actually, for some reason, like Japanese speakeasies use those type of shakers. They just do one at a time. Most bars do tend to use these type of cobblers. So you just smack it.
Yep, and it's pretty much it's watertight at that point. Yep.
Yeah, right there. And then you same shaking. Okay, the other thing you have to do is smack it again to get it loose.
To
So
loosen it up.
there's a point where it just starts to loosen a little bit, and then you hit it hard there, and then that loosens.
Got it. See, normally for me, that's the point at which the entire contents goes on the floor.
I mean,
Because I'm trying to wrestle the Boston shaker top off of the.
It worked very smoothly for me that time. It normally doesn't, but normally I'm.
You're being modest. You're being modest. By the way, I got everybody watching. Hit the chat if you would, and certainly I didn't know. If you did not know the proper way and the motion for shaking with the ice in the shaker, because that for me is a revelation. Like in the you learn something new every day department. That was a new one for me. I don't know if everybody watching is the same thing, but let us know, because I'm fascinated. Because you don't want to get too much of the chips of the ice into the drink.
Yeah, that's a sign of like. So my first bartending job ever was at a nightclub, and that's how they taught. They're like, fill up the glass with as much ice as possible, shake it as hard as you can, and it was essentially and like a 2C ice chips, and they're just like, it's essentially like water down the alcohol as much as possible so that we don't have to spend as much money on our customers. Like, so for the spice cider, I'm serving it here at Rockfest. I'm a big fan of the humongous ice cube. So
Yep.
you can get these silicone trays. That's what I use for the smaller ones too, off of Amazon. When you put the water in there, if you can, use filtered water. If not, boil some water and put it in there, and then put it in your freezer. Put it on the bottom part of your freezer. Don't put it higher up. So the lower it is, the more likely it is it'll be a little bit clearer, and not as frosty. Just the way that science. So, and oddly enough, if you boil the water first, it actually supposedly freezes faster because the molecules are moving quicker. But I looked it up; it's a thing.
Now, can you put the very hot water in that container, or do you let it cool off first?
You can, because it's silicone. So silicone, you can actually get like 450 degrees or whatever, right?
You're not gonna get any. You're not turning it into silicone soup for your.
Yeah. The other thing is like, the ice that's in your shaker is trash. Don't ever put that in a glass. That's not classy. Okay.
Stay classy. Stay classy.
Stay classy. Stay classy, my friends.
Now, how many of those square special ice cubes did you put in your glass for this?
Oh, just one. Always just one. Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. And then
Spiced cider and the cinnamon stick.
boom.
Man, that looks good. It's looking better than mine. Mine was a little bit more rudimentary. But I gotta tell you, it's delicious. And there's something about the mouthfeel of this vodka that when you use it as a mix in a cocktail, it imparts, you still get that sense of smoothness from it. It's not as harsh as some of the vodkas that are less mouthfeel.
Oh my God, it mouthfeels amazing. And the thing is, like, the way your brain comprehends taste is very interesting. So the first thing that your brain notices when you drink something, actually, if you're ever drinking spirits, you should always drink it twice. So the first time you drink a distilled spirit, your brain notices the alcohol first, and it kind of overpowers your senses. And then the second time, you actually notice the flavors and the nuances of the spirit. But for this particular one, it's smooth just right off the bat. And that's the thing, it blends so well in the cocktail. And because it is so smooth that you don't It's dangerous. You don't know what's in there, but I just put 2 ounces of vodka in there. So
I gotta tell you, I declare the spiced cider the cocktail of the season this year because it is so apt and appropriate for this time of year. I mean, this is absolutely delicious. And I'm so glad you explained how to make the chai tea syrup because it's not something you could easily procure like looking around in a store, for example.
no, this is for you to show off to your friends. Yeah.
Exactly. So up next is the pumpkin spice sour,
Okay.
which I am intrigued with. It's got the ingredients are quite they're not exotic, but they're not as basic as what we just did. It's a little bit more
It's a much
involved.
complicated one. I actually I did an event, a virtual event a few weeks ago, and I messed up with the eggs, but I had extras. So, but what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna show you how to rim a cocktail glass so you can get like a nice garnish around the edges there. So I made a pumpkin spice sugar blend, which is just.
And that's just pumpkin spice that you bought at the store with
Spice and sugar, half and half.
and regular like Domino granulated sugar.
Yep. Yeah.
Got it.
So you take that leftover lemon or lime wedge and you rub the outside of your glass. Let's go. Hopefully the seeds don't fall in it. Sorry about that. So that makes it sticky.
Yep.
You roll it.
Oh, you roll it. I thought you put the glass sort of upside down on it.
I mean, you can do that, but this is a little bit more effective and a little bit more even. And then, because if you put your glass on top of it, you end up getting some of the garnish on the inside of the glass.
Right, which you don't want.
This time it's just on the outside of the glass. And then it shows up in your cocktail. So.
There you go. Look at that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So I got, oh, here's my cake.
I'm gonna show everybody the recipe well here.
Okay.
It's an egg. It's not exotic. It's 1 egg white. It's maple syrup. It's lemon juice and the vodka.
Okay, so we're using the egg white because the egg white creates a delicious, wonderful foam that you'll see at the end. If you are vegan, though, there is an option. There is a liquid called Aquafaba, which is literally the liquid that is in a can of chickpeas.
Okay.
2 tablespoons of that instead of an egg white, and you will get the same effect.
All right.
Or if you're just out of eggs and you have chickpeas laying around.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. All right. So we'll
Okay.
watch you do this. So this is the delicate part is separating out.
Messed up. That's what
You
happened.
drop the egg white. You drop the yolk. All right. So Will, to make you feel better, when I was prepping my cocktail for tonight, I dropped the yolk in there too. So that for everybody watching, you're gonna need to have at least 2 eggs.
I'm paying. I wish I was better at this. All right. Okay. There we go. There we go.
You got it. You got it.
You got it. I used to work at a bar. We had to do this all the time. Oh, it was such a nightmare because like you would get like this big jar of it, and all of a sudden you would just drop 1 yolk in there and ruin it. Okay. So I got
All
my,
right.
and then I need more lemons. All right. So there were
Right,
3
so
quarters.
I'm gonna put this back on. So this one is 3/4. Yeah.
So if you have one of these jiggers, it has on the inside of it, there's like little lines that have like the 1.5 ounces and 2 ounces at the top, and then here we have like a 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, and 1 ounce. You can, I can't really show you through the video, but it's inside there.
All right, so this is the 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice.
Let's see if I have 3/4. And then for maple syrup, do not use Aunt Jemima, use actual maple syrup.
I hesitate to say this because I don't want to.
Use Aunt Jemima, Sam.
I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence, but Aunt Jemima syrup is 100% synthetic. There's no maple anything in it. A maple tree has not gotten to within 100 miles of the syrup that is Aunt Jemima syrup.
But go for a lighter style. So like I think there's different grades and different colors, like the dark one, but just go this is a great.
So you go with more of the amber, like golden syrup.
Amber color, yeah, amber golden ones, yeah.
Right. Okay.
The beauty of that is you don't have to dilute it. So that's
Right.
one. Okay, so you're not putting the vodka in yet. So you have the sweetener, you have the acid, and you have the egg white. And I need. Oh, that's what it's with. Okay. So you're gonna do what we call a dry shake, and this actually helps create the foam.
Okay.
So, boom, and this you can shake however you want.
No shaking rules on this one.
There's no ice in here, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You actually do want to do it just up and down, and that'll create
I
that.
just shipped mine, and I've combined it. Because then the ice comes now for the second shake, yeah?
Yes. So you call it the ice and the vodka. So let's put the vodka in. 1.5 ounces of Upstate delicious vodka made from apples.
So Will, I have a stupid question. Can you have this drink if you want on the rocks? If that's your preference?
You can.
Yeah. That's good, because I'm having it on the rocks. Now, these are more square, the special square.
Ice cubes.
Yep.
That's just because I don't have an ice maker. They also don't chip as much, so
Yep.
that's good.
Now this time we got to shake it the right way.
Yeah.
And then that's a mixologist right there. That's a bartender.
You're not sure like when it's done, like when you start to feel it in your hand, and
Yep.
your hand gets cold, and you're like, okay, then I know the inside is good to go. And then where's my strainer? Okay. Can we see this in the video there? Yeah, let's do this.
Oh man, this one is really, really good. Oh my goodness. Holy mackerel. This is also fabulous for the holidays. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Now we're doing this live, and I'm going to try something that I haven't tried yet and see if it works.
Man, the egg white does wonders for this. So what are we doing now?
Okay, so the beauty of an egg white cocktail is you can kind of draw on it. So if you have bitters, you can, if you just like, you can make a little design. So what I'm going to try to do is I cut a very, very poor stencil out of some paper here. I'm going to stick it on top. And I've seen this at cocktail bars, and I'm always super impressed. Now, if you have the time and you're like having an X-Acto knife laying around your house, what you can do is actually like a deli container. If you take the top of a deli container and you cut a design into it, it sits perfectly on top of the cocktail, and then you can spray on top of it. You can reuse it. This is a one-off deal. That's why I didn't do it earlier. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. But let's find out.
All right, so I'm sorry, Will, explain again, what is that you just spritzed over that?
That is bitters. So like the
Bitters,
most popular, and it did not turn out that great. All right. But you get, if you can see, let me see if I can get it closer.
Yeah, you got to bring it over closer.
No.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, you get that
A little bit of a
modeling
design
on the top.
Here, I'll get it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very nice. Wow.
Yeah. So that was because I used paper, but if you use something thicker and you put it on there, it sits right on top of it and you can kind of spray it over and like you can make whatever design. So you can do a Christmas tree or, you know, an apple or just like someone's name or whatever you want to do. So
This drink, Will, is disturbingly delicious. It really, you know, it's, you know, this one is going to stay with me for a while because it's like, wow, it doesn't taste like a drink. It just tastes like a delicious beverage. Fabulous. You are a master mixologist. I love these. All three of these are terrific. I will say the last two are so seasonal and so appropriate for right now.
yeah.
And I agree with John. That is so cool what you did with the bitters over this one. It's just a
I've
terrific.
definitely seen better work. It wasn't great, but now that's what I'm going to do for the next month. I'm going to sit there and keep practicing.
You know, I think that if people, most people are probably like me, you get a little daunted by the ingredients requirements.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, you know, when you see the ingredients on this one have the pumpkin spice sugar. Where did you find, how do you get the pumpkin spice sugar? Because again, I see that and I'm like, oh God, I can't get that at my grocery store. Like, how do I procure that?
I got it at the grocery store. So.
You got it at the grocery store. Okay. So unlike the
I got
chai,
two things at the grocery store. I got pumpkin spice and I got sugar. And then I just half and half. Yeah.
got it. Okay. So it's literally that simple.
Yeah,
I know,
it's
because
trying to make-
for
it's
some
trying to make it
people,
easy to be
some
reproducible.
people it's a little daunting. The ingredients can be daunting, like, oh goodness gracious.
Well,
But
I've definitely seen some like obscure syrups and stuff, and like anything that I make, I'm gonna teach you how to make it. So like that defeats the purpose of me. Hey, well, this is a great cocktail that you'll never be able to have at home. Like that doesn't help anybody. So
right.
it's all about how to be able to reproduce it at home. Yeah.
Well, these three cocktails are terrific. I want to thank you for doing this. It's great to hang with you, and
Thank you.
going into the holidays is perfect. It's the 1st of December, and I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight to join us on virtual day trip to wine country presented by Citi. Get your Upstate Vodka. By the way, that deal is a great deal for the price of one.
Yeah.
For the price of one bottle of super premium big brand vodka at your liquor store, you can get 2 bottles of Upstate Vodka, no shipping charge, for the same as you would pay at the liquor store when you pick up a super premium bottle of vodka. And there's a 20% discount. So holy mackerel. Will, thank you again. It's great hanging with you. I want to do another session with you in the new year where we do some seasonal drinks, maybe for the spring going into the
Oh,
summer
I love that. Yeah.
with Upstate Vodka.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll even pair a little bit of some fun appetizers or food with the drinks as well.
Oh.
So anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. We will be off next week, but we're back the week of December 15th for the last virtual tasting of the year with Lang Twins Winery, which is an absolutely spectacular winery in the Lodi wine region, and they make some incredible wines. So join us on December 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And thank you everybody for joining. Will, stay safe, have a great holiday season, and we will see you in 2022.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys, take care now.